KCRA 3 News at 5:30 starts right now.
Good morning to you. Good morning, Fairfield. 529, taking a live look here at Fairfield Sky Camera. Got 80 in the background. Traffic seems to be moving smoothly. We'll have more on weather and traffic in a moment. But first, good morning. I'm Theo Torres.
And I'm Deirdre Fitzpatrick. Let's go ahead and get a check of our forecast. Camera is off today, but David Bigger is filling in.
And I'm filling in with a little bit of that Delta breeze right now. Check out what it looks like in Fairfield. We have a southwest wind at 9 miles an hour. Sure, that's not that strong of a wind, but that's better than yesterday. We had north winds through Fairfield at this time, which cuts off the Delta breeze. So even though you're seeing calm conditions around Sacramento and Stockton, a light southeast wind in Modesto and a light wind in Marysville, there is a touch of that Delta flow out there, and that's why temperatures have warmed into the upper 50s, or has cooled into the upper 50s and low 60s. So right now, 60 in Sacramento and Stockton, 57 in Modesto and Fairfield, 59 degrees in Marysville. The Sierra looking at a chilly morning start as well in the 30s. But in the valley, we're just looking at temperatures that are not really changing all that much from yesterday, but in a few spots we are a little bit cooler, and I think that's where we're going to end up this afternoon. Temperatures today in the upper 80s and low 90s across the region, a little bit cooler than yesterday, and that's not the coolest it's going to be over the next couple of days. I'll show you how cool it will get coming up in just a couple minutes, but let's send it over to Jacqueline Dunn now for a look at your roads.
All right, David, and right now things looking good. If you're making your way through Stockton this morning, it's been a pretty quiet ride as you are heading in and throughout San Joaquin County. Modesto, nice and quiet. All lanes reopened along northbound 880 in Oakland at 98th after all had been blocked, but one for quite some time. And heading into Sacramento, no problems to report. Guys, back over to you.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline. Here's a look now at some of the top stories we're following for you this morning.
And we start with two teens in serious condition after getting hit by a car on their way to Galt High School. The accident happened at around 7:30 yesterday on C Street. Police say that some sun glare may have played a role.
Well, the principal of a prestigious Marin County school is under arrest after police say they found him at a Rancho Cordova hotel with a large amount of drugs. Thomas Price has since resigned as principal of the Branson School.
And former real estate mogul Michael Lyon will be back in court today facing drug charges. Lyon was recently arrested. Police said that they found meth in his home after he failed to show up for a probation check. Developing downtown, we hear a lot about the arena, but there's another huge project the City Council is going to be focusing on tonight.
And KCRA 3's Mike Tassell is along the 700 block of K Street with the details. Mike?
Good morning. Yeah, the sun's not up yet, but the sounds of demolition for the arena continue to reverberate through the K Street area here. We've listened to it all morning long, but what is about to happen tonight is not related or not directly related to the arena. Instead, it is a key piece of redeveloping downtown and a redevelopment issue for the city. That's because tonight the City Council will vote on whether to approve what has been called one of the most vital redevelopment projects in downtown. Not only because the 700 block of K Street borders the new arena site, but also because it's a site that has stood mostly vacant for years. So what is proposed is a $52 million plan to construct housing, stores, restaurants, and a music club. The developer calling this a critical piece to the puzzle of revitalizing downtown, especially since it sits, quote, at the doorstep of the new arena. So joining me right now, Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Agency Director Tyrone Roderick Williams. And good morning. Thanks for joining us. And let me just ask you, as far as a vote tonight, how big is this or how significant is this?
This is huge for downtown and for the city of Sacramento.
And why?
This project really is a catalyst for the redevelopment efforts that relate to affordable housing and economic development. And so in one project, we have two essential elements for revitalizing downtown, and particularly this block, 700K block.
And how does it relate to the downtown arena and the plans for just continuing to try and kind of rebrand, revitalize, and kind of restore this K Street area?
Well, as you know, one of the themes for the arena is power forward. And that not only relates to building a new arena, but it really relates to revitalization efforts throughout the city, starting in downtown and reverberating throughout the other neighborhoods and even into the county. So this is a critical part of the whole puzzle of revitalizing. We've got the arena on one end, then we've got the rail yards that are about to kick off. Old Town Sacramento is vibrant, and there's a lot of demand for housing for all types of workers downtown, and this will be the first of what we hope will be many mixed income, mixed use, and yet transit-oriented developments. So this is a major deal for downtown.
And just to give people a sense, how long has this been in the works?
Well, this project really came to fruition in its first iteration back in 2010. So this has been a long but constant march to the point that we are today. And the vote from the council to move this project forward will really be a vote to move downtown forward.
Tyrone Roderick Williams, thank you so much for meeting us this morning. Again, that vote tonight before the city council, not related directly to the downtown arena, but I can tell you this morning right across the street, we have been listening to the sounds of that arena deconstruction all morning long. Live along K Street, Mike Tissell, KCRA 3 News.
All right, Mike, thanks. 5:35, another street is going to be debated tonight at the city council meeting. The debate over our street is going to continue tonight as the council will consider funding other elements for the second phase of a revitalization project. Work is being done on our street between 16th and 18th Streets.
Well, should short beards be allowed in prison? Supreme Court justices will hear arguments on this case today. It centers on Arkansas prisoner inmate Gregory Holt. He says he should be allowed to wear a short beard because he's Muslim, it's part of his religious beliefs. Arkansas corrections officials have, though, refused to allow beards in prison except for medical reasons, allowing those inmates with skin conditions to have beards a quarter-inch long. Prison officials say it is a security risk because beards can be used to hide prohibited items. 18 other states are backing this argument. Meantime, today, many couples enjoying their first morning as newlyweds after a move by the Supreme Court yesterday opened the door for thousands of same-sex couples to marry. This was the scene in Arlington, Virginia, as a couple married moments after the court declined to rule on the constitutionality of same-sex marriage. And that allows lower court rulings in Virginia, Utah, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Oklahoma to stand, thus allowing same-sex couples to wed.
For a lot of people, including those of us that have been pushing for marriage equality, we practically have whiplash. It is so quick.
The non-ruling did not set a precedent, though, but experts say the more states legalize same-sex marriage, it will make it harder for courts to later stop them. So here's where things stand across the country when it comes to same-sex marriage. Monday's decision is also binding for 6 other states. So same-sex marriage is legal now or will be soon in all 30 of these states we've highlighted here. Opponents of same-sex marriage are still hopeful the Supreme Court will eventually take up this issue. Another big story we're following, more Ebola concerns as a nurse in Spain has become the first person to contract the virus outside of Africa.
And here in the U.S., President Obama says the government is considering enhanced passenger screenings at airports. KCRA 3's Aix Diaz live in our Washington newsroom. Is a travel ban an option?
It's not, Deirdre, not for now. The U.S. says it is not restricting travel to and from West Africa, even though some lawmakers are calling for a travel ban.
What is correct is that we treat this in a circumstance where we stop travel to the United States.
Some Republicans say protecting Americans from Ebola should include a travel ban. The Obama administration says that option is not on the table.
There already is a multi-layered screening protocol in place in our transportation system. There are extensive screening measures on the ground in West Africa.
Good afternoon, everybody.
President Obama calls the Ebola crisis a top national security priority. He says while the U.S. works to end the deadly outbreak, other nations should step up as well.
Countries that think that they can sit on the sidelines and just let the United States do it, that will result in a less effective response, a less speedy response, and that means that people die.
For the first time, someone has contracted Ebola outside of West Africa. A nurse in Spain has tested positive for the virus while caring for a missionary who became infected in Sierra Leone and returned to Europe for treatment.
Once we identified the possible case of Ebola, we immediately enacted the protocol coordinated by the health department and the regional government of Madrid.
Doctors say Thomas Duncan, the Ebola patient in Dallas, is in critical condition, and now a North Carolina drug maker is providing an experimental drug for his treatment.
So we're hearing that some hospitals in New York City are conducting undercover drills. What does that mean?
This is interesting. These hospitals, public hospitals in the city, are secretively sending in actors with mock symptoms into the ERs to test nurses and doctors to make sure that they're doing the right thing and doing what they're supposed to be doing if an Ebola patient were to come in. Are they asking about travel history? Are they possibly putting them into quarantine if need be? It's all being done secretively. Again, these doctors and nurses don't know what's going on, but these hospitals want to make sure that their staff is ready in case case someone with Ebola truly comes in.
It's like a medical undercover shopper.
It's like a secret shopper, yeah, but Ebola version. That's interesting. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
It is 5:39 now. Today's show is also following this story right now. An NBC photojournalist is in isolation in Nebraska and under constant monitoring. Kate Snow is tracking the developments this morning.
Ashoka Mukpo is waking up here at the Nebraska Medical Center inside the biocontainment unit in his new patient room there. His family says he's in good spirits, but he is nervous because he's lived in Liberia and he has seen what the devastating Ebola virus can do there. That said, his father says he will be getting an experimental drug, and they are very hopeful about his care here. I'm Kate Snow. I'll have the very latest from Omaha coming up on the Today Show.
Moving now to Commitment 2014, political decisions can make or break a business.
And the Chamber of Commerce brought candidates to West Sacramento business owners last night. Lisa Gonzalez joining us now with some of the issues that are facing voters, businesses, and those candidates.
And this election season, we have lots of major seats open in Yolo County this year, including 2 on the Washington Unified School Board. One of the biggest issues was education and community involvement. Residents and candidates at the forum last night expressed their desire to get students excited to learn and to get them involved in their communities.
This should be about education, this should be about fun, and this should be about our students wanting to go to school and pursue future education, college, trade schools, whatever it may be.
Really critical for our young people to be educated in not just school, not just in school, but as viable members of their community.
I hope that we can continue to open up the dialogue. We can continue to work with the voters here, the families here, and have an open door policy so that you know that your voice is heard as well as we're sitting up in front of the boardroom.
Last night's forum invited all candidates running for city council, school board, and mayor to speak. Now, just a reminder, if you want to vote in the November 4th election, you still have 2 weeks to register. The deadline is October 20th. Don't let it sneak up on you.
All right. Thanks so much, Lisa.
It is 5:42, a new name for next Monday.
Yeah, why Seattle decided to sail away from Columbus Day, the new name they've claimed.
And we're looking at that breeze returning, and that means a cooling trend for the valley. We'll take you through how cool it will get coming up.